And now, a man with resting rich face, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the Church of Mandate. Get it on. Our first guest. My mic sounds a little weird. Let's see if Emmy can pot it up or cue it down or whatever the hell you got to do. Anyway, Jack Jr., Jack Assadourian. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly.
It's Assadourian.
Assadourian.
We're in Glendale. You should know that.
Yeah, you're right.
I tried to do it.
Fucking, well, they spelled it out phonetically here, and it didn't work
Don't
for
worry.
me. Mark Garagos would kick my ass. We heard it. All right.
That's so
All
funny.
right, I'm going to try to write it phonetically. Say it one more time.
Assadourian.
Assadourian.
Yeah.
All right, I'd go with a D there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all right. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Assadourian.
There you go.
Yeah. I like you because you got a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not black.
I know. That's the weird thing. I'm Lebanese, Armenian, Mexican.
You know, my dad rocked a pick.
Oh, did he?
In the 70s. If you find a picture of my dad, oh yeah, it's a little off, but it's fine. It's fine. It's free. See a picture of my dad in the 70s. He had a full fro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was Italian.
Okay. I think people were vibing with that back then.
Is there cultural appropriation with the pick? Like, would you pull the pick out in front of some brothers?
Oh, yeah. They love it.
Oh, they love it.
Oh, hell yeah. I get the most compliments at the airport.
Oh, security?
TSA. They're like, yo.
Is TSA in LAX seems exclusively black at this point.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever seen.
And that's how it's so safe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I haven't. Not a lot of Asians. Not a lot of Hispanics represented over there.
No, I haven't seen much. Just in the housekeeping area? No, is that too?
But Burbank Airport is not black security. That's white security.
Yeah.
And it's different from place to place. All right, anyway. How's stand-up going?
Stand-up is actually really well right now. It's been I've been doing it for 15 years, and it's finally making some noise, and I just signed with an agency, and I sold out 2 theater shows for Netflix as a joke.
Oh, right.
So
that's out here in L.A. coming up, right?
Congrats.
Yeah, so super stoked at the Belasco and at the Legion. So
I'm doing that too, but I don't know where or when. But I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how my schedule works. When is Netflix as a joke that big specials?
May 2nd through the 12th. Mm-hmm. May 2nd through the 12th.
And so how does it work? Do they come to you or does somebody else come to you? So they come to people and they go, you want to do a show? And then you go, all right. And then they go, see about your other comedian friends that want to do a show with you? Or how does it work?
So with me, I auditioned for New Faces, or it's called Introducing for Netflix. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, I didn't get it. But another producer that worked at Netflix knew who I was, and they go, well, you didn't make that, but I want to put you in something else. So Arsenio Hall brought back his show for Netflix as a joke 2 years ago, and I was the late night set of the episode. He interviewed like Gabriel Iglesias and 805 South, and then I went up at the end and did like a 10-minute set. So after I did that, they reached out to me this year and asked if I wanted to headline a show. I sold out the show in 4 hours.
Wow.
So then they added another show, and then they wanted to add a third show, but we're still debating if we're going to do that.
I did Celebrity Apprentice with Arsenio Hall. And I remember you get in that boardroom, and they start grilling everybody, and everyone's got their own version of what happened. That's the best part. Yeah. I love everyone's version of what happened.
Especially when there are cameras on everything.
I know, but they'll still give you their version of what happened. And Arsenio, at some point, I don't know, he was trying to throw me under the bus or something, which is how the game works, essentially. And he kept looking at me, and he goes, I came to Adam, and he flipped the script. And he said flip the script like 3 times. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think you just like saying flip the script. You know what I mean? Some people like just saying. the first time I learned the phrase "no can do," I was like 9. I just said it to everything.
You shoehorn it in it.
Somebody said, like, "You want to get some ice cream?" No can do. And I'd walk away laughing. And I didn't even know what it fucking meant.
I still don't know what it means.
But yeah, we flipped the script, and but Arsenio was a finalist, and I think he picked me first to be on his team as a finalist, as I recall. It was him and Clay Aiken. I think those were the two.
Oh, wow.
That'd be my number one argument. You know, when they always call Trump a racist.
Yeah.
It's like, I picked a black dude and a gay dude. Come on. How bad can you be? Plenty of good white guys there.
Yeah.
Skip right past them. One for the gay dude and the black dude.
Yeah.
That's who we ended up with. Yeah. So, and then there's a whole Bob Kraft thing, that the guy who owns the Patriots. I don't want to get into that, but that was kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. But you may have a funnier story you want to say instead.
No, I want to hear with Bob Kraft. What did he do?
I was sitting backstage on the finals for the final night when they were going to announce the winner of Celebrity Apprentice. And it was at, like, I don't know, Radio City Music Hall or something. And they had these backstage tents that Arsenio's team was over here and Clay Aiken's team was over there. And everyone was in the back sitting around. And I was sitting back there with Dee Schneider, Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
And I don't think the team captains were there, so I don't think Arsenio was there. It was Paulie Sr. from West Coast Choppers.
Oh, yeah.
Or Orange County Choppers, or maybe it was Orange
One of the
County.
Choppers.
Yeah, one of those. So it's Paulie, the biker dude. Then it's Dee Snyder. Then it's George Takei. And maybe some chick like Miss Latin America or something. And you can look up the roster, Chris. I'll tell you who it was. It was like 5 people.
Yeah.
And me. And Trump comes into our tent. And he goes, "Good news, everybody. I'm going to go get my buddy Bob Kraft, and I'm bringing him in here."
Oh, wow.
Now, it should be big news, but he goes by Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
And he's the owner of the Patriots,
Yeah.
and they're winning all their Super Bowls back then. But he goes, "I'm going to get Bob Kraft," and he left. And I started looking at everybody. I was like, biker guy, you don't know who the fuck Bob Kraft is. Gay guy, you don't know who Bob Kraft is. Twisted Sister guy, rock and roll guy, you don't know who Bob Kraft is. Miss Latin America, I'm the only person here who knows. Trump just left like, "Hi," all right, wait till you guys meet Bob Kraft. And nobody in the room knew what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I gleaned from that. So you grew up out here?
I grew up in Glendale, California. I was actually born here in Glendale.
Oh, really?
I went to high school. I went to elementary school. I went to a junior high at a private Armenian school. But I grew up in Glendale, man. It's both my cultures are here.
Mexican
and Armenian.
And Armenian?
Yeah.
Which one's the dominant force in your life?
Lately, it's I grew up very Mexican because my Mexican family was here in LA. My Armenian family wasn't here. But lately, I've been talking more about being Armenian, and all of the whole culture just came out and has been really embraced me, and I've become more Armenian recently. So it's
I think you do better being Armenian.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Armenian comedians, so.
No, there isn't a lot of Armenian comedians, but I will tell you that when I did Kevin and Bean morning show, K-Rock, with Jimmy Kimmel way back in the mid-'90s, one of their most popular characters was Sam, the Armenian comedian.
Yeah.
So there was an Armenian comedian, and now I don't think he helped your cause.
Yeah.
Because
he wasn't funny.
He was not funny. He had a thick Armenian accent, but he was the Armenian comedian.
Yeah.
And Sam, I don't know if I could pronounce his. I don't know if I even knew his last name.
Wasn't he like a clown? He did balloons and.
I think he was a barber.
Was he a barber?
But he wore a bad toupee.
Okay.
Which doesn't, it's like a fat fitness coach, what I mean?
I never met him, but I just heard stories.
You heard of the Armenian comedian.
Menashian.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away in April of last year.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Sam. I think Jimmy told me Sam
Yeah.
Sam
Oh,
died.
so sad.
Yeah, we love the Armenian comedian. We made fun of him all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
but he was the Armenian
He was
comedian.
an Armenian comedian.
And it was a novelty back
Yeah,
then because
I remember listening on the radio all the time.
oh, you did.
Yeah,
It was
oh, big time.
Young inspiration.
Yeah. No, but
Well, at least there was somebody, the Hispanics, they had like Freddie Prince
Yeah.
and other Cheech and Chong, however that
Paul
word, Paul
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. Like there were some guys blazing the trail in the 70s
Yeah.
and into the 80s.
Yeah.
But the Armos,
It
you
was
guys
just-
were on layaway.
yeah, there was.
It took the Armenian
I love that you said
comedian.
Armos.
Well, that's what Garrigus says. I
Yeah.
feel grandfathered in.
Yeah.
How old was Sam when he died?
It was a car accident.
Oh, really?
man.
Oh,
Terrible.
wow.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know his age.
Oh, well, now it seemed to me that he was a good 15 years older than us at the time, but a car accident kind of late in life.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Did it say he was a barber?
Yeah, what was he? Someone told me he was like an actual, like he would go to parties and like do balloon animals and stuff.
It's possible. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
It all ends sadly. So
Yeah.
get used to it, everybody.
Yeah.
Are you going out and doing dates?
Yeah, I actually have a full schedule. I'm booked. It's called the You Don't Know Jack comedy tour, and I'm going all of the East. I'm going to New York, New Jersey, Philly.
Are your parents upset that you're like selling out theaters when you could just be going to their club and doing a few nights? I mean, like make them some money.
I mean, that's the thing. I do.
They own a club. They own
My
a
parents
the
own
Ha-Ha,
my parents
right?
own a comedy club, Haha Comedy Club. Yeah, I still do shows there. That's why it's like my gym. I go there and I get my reps in. Like I was there last night. We sold out a show last night.
Nice.
I have a couple of those shows coming up. Also sold out. It's my gym. I go there to work out. It's great.
And also to work, right? I heard you talking about how when you would do sets there, like his parents would just put him to work while
Oh,
while he's there.
100%. Like I literally, I'll get to the club, and I'll have to move chairs and do the sound,
Hey, your
see
set's not
people
for another hour.
See people. Sometimes I have to bartend and do the door. I did everything. I was a one-stop shop. But now it's like, Mom, they're here to see me. Can I go to the green room?
Yeah,
Wow.
clean it. Go and clean it.
Yeah. Go clean it. Huh?
Yeah, do they have food there?
Yeah, it's a full Mexican. My dad doesn't call it Mexican cuisine anymore. He calls it California cuisine, but it's Mexican food. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good food. It's really good food. I haven't eaten there my whole life.
Have your parents had that place since you were a kid?
Yeah, I was 30. 30. It's been like 36 years.
Yeah, same route as Pauly Shore.
36 years. Yeah, Pauly Shore actually says, "Bro, you're me of the valley." Yeah.
So was it being in that environment that sort of rubbed off? And did your parents try to dissuade you from doing stand-up?
Yeah, I mean, they don't. You know how it is with stand up. It's a tough business. It's dark. And I never wanted to be a stand up. I actually opened up my own cell phone store when I was like 20. And I was selling cell phones in a mall because I was really good at it because I used to work for T-Mobile.
That's the Armenian side.
Yeah.
I'll tell you which side the Mexican
makes more
side is
sense.
and what side the Armenian side is. You just tell me what you did and I'll tell you what side it is.
Let's go to your
I was
resume.
a strip club DJ for a while.
It was still Armo. Still Armo. It's close.
It's a little of that, and then I got married at a really young age. and-
Mexican.
yeah,
Yeah, keep going.
I had a kid.
Mexican.
I got a divorce.
Oh, Armo. Yeah.
Yeah, so long story short, after my divorce, she kind of like really screwed me in my head, and I lost my business,
Armo.
lost everything, and
Armo.
I told my dad I needed help with therapy because I started drinking,
Armo.
doing drugs.
Armo. Yeah, keep going.
And then I go, Dad, I need it for help, and then my dad goes, you know how expensive therapy is? He
Oh,
goes,
Mexican.
He goes, yeah, you go do stand up. So I started
Armo.
doing stand up, and that's it.
Yeah, the crowd will be your
15 years later, I'm here. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Doing stand-up can be pretty cathartic.
Yeah.
And you do, if you sort of, I guess if you looked at it this way, you go, well, when you're feeling blue or depressed or down and out and you go on a big, hard hike,
Yeah.
And you really like sweat it out.
Yeah.
And you really work it out. And then you come back and you feel better. You know, and they go, why do you feel better? It's like, because I feel like I purged something, like I sweat it out, you know? So that's the kind of physical version of kind of dealing with feelings, depression, whatever. But if you stood up on stage and just sort of purged thoughts for an hour, that would probably have the same effect as the hike.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Anytime anything's ever bothering me, like with my wife, my kids, anything, even my parents, I'll just go on stage and I just riff and I just let it out, and I don't even care if I bomb anymore. I just feel like I'm growing more as a person. Like, hey, that was terrible. I go, well, fuck you. It made me feel better.
So it actually is therapeutic.
It is therapeutic.
But how do you? I mean, it is a kind of fine line when you're purging about stuff and the people you're talking about are in the facility.
Oh yeah.
That can be a little stifling.
My parents
sometimes.
one time turned the mic off on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do not make fun of me. Yeah.
They turned the mic off on you?
Yeah, but they put it back on. And I go, that was my dad.
Wow.
Yeah. But now it's funny. Now he loves it because I talk about him on stage and I post pictures of him on Instagram. And now he's getting free meals out of it in Glendale, like at the Armenian restaurants.
Oh.
So my dad will walk in and then my dad goes, oh my God, the owner give me and your mom a free meal because they love what you're doing for the community. And he goes, put more pictures of me on Instagram.
Wait a minute. Is Dad the Armo?
My dad's the Armenian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. That is, it's a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
Which I've learned.
How long have you been in Glendale?
Oh, man. I've been here. Well, I bought this place like 22 years ago or something like that. And I didn't buy it to do any podcasting. I just bought it to make a wood shop and put some cars and like wrench on some cars. And I will tell you this. When you buy a warehouse and you buy a warehouse in the city you grew up in, it will immediately be filled with your friends' shit.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens is they go, I got a car I'm working on, but I can't keep it in my apartment driveway. Could I just drop it off for a couple of weeks before I got to move it on to? And everyone parking cars, engine blocks, like just every project my friends had just ended up in the back of this warehouse.
Wow.
And then after people have this really shitty quality, which is after things are a certain way for a certain period of time, that's just how they are.
Yeah.
So like if you had a friend and you said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $100 a week every week for the next 30 weeks. They'd go, oh, okay. And then on the 31st week, if you went, yeah, well, time's up. I'm not going to give you $100. They go, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
that's how people's wiring immediately goes to just what is.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who was him and his cousin. They're parking all their cars back here. And I had a hoist in the back that I installed to work on my cars.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was installed, he parked his car on it and then took his car apart and then just sat on the hoist taken apart for like 2 years.
Oh, my God.
And then at some point I said, hey, when are you going to fix up that car so I get to use my hoist?
Yeah.
And he goes, your shit's all over here too.
Oh, my
Just
God.
like,
Gotcha.
my stuff's all over my warehouse?
Yeah.
That was literally his answer. That's how people fucking work. And this is why you can't be nice to anyone ever.
Dude.
You can't do anything for anyone because they fucking end up getting pissed off. Because they just think it's like it's the equivalent of flying on an airplane and 2 hours into flight thinking you own the plane.
Oh, my God.
Like you go, I'm here. Why is this my plane? Like, yes, you're here, but it's not yours. You don't pay for it.
I remember talking to somebody whose roommate was moving out. He was bummed. He was all upset, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "He's freaking taking his TV when he moves out." I'm like, it's his TV.
Yeah,
Who cares? Like, I'm sorry. You know?
Or hey, lending people money. And then you have to chase for it, and then they make you feel bad for asking for it. I'm like, yo, it's my fucking money.
Yeah, that effort.
That's the worst, and it's always like that. Like a friend borrowed money the other day, and he goes, "Hey man, I really need it. So I'll have it back to you by next week." I said, "Cool." Give him $500, and then I gave him like a month, and I go, "Hey man, I really need that $500." And I didn't really need it, but it's like it was still
say
like
that.
it was like I could put it in the bank and it'll make more money. I mean, I'm just like, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were hurting that bad." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Well, also, Les, here's the sad reality. You have a job where you do nothing for a living, according to these guys, and get
Yeah.
paid way too much.
100%.
You know what I mean? So if you work in a opal mine, or you work in a, you work in a coal mine and a shaft, or you work, as a roofer or something, then people are, if they do borrow money, are way more respectful for how you earn the money. You get up on stage and make fun of your parents,
Yeah.
and then someone pays you.
Yeah.
So why can't you give me $500?
Yeah.
There's two parts. It's
Yeah.
how much money you have and what you have to do to get your money. And people, when they think of comedy, they just go, you stand around with a beer in your hand making fart jokes and somebody pays you.
Yeah.
Which is true, but you're missing the part. Like, because I tell people all the time, they go, you get 50 grand to go do some corporate something or other. I go, no. I'm getting paid for all the groundlings classes I took in my 20s when I was flat fucking broke. I'm getting paid for all the open mics I waited in line for when I was 25. I'm getting paid for all the classes and all the church basements and all the weekends and all the writing and all. That's what I'm
All
getting
the
paid
free
for.
shows you did.
All the free shows. That's what I'm getting paid for. I'm not getting paid for this one night.
Yeah.
I'm getting back pay for all the fucking freebies.
Yeah. It's true, man. People don't respect like just because you like made it now. Like I've been doing it for 15 years. I didn't start making money for 13 years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like even like when my mother-in-law, she's gonna hate that I said this. When I started dating my wife, she goes, "What do you do?" And as a comic, I was a young comic. I'm like still featuring, And I go, "I'm a comedian." She goes, "Oh, how much do you make?" And I'm like, "Oh, like $3,000 a month." And with me, that was a lot. I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm good at
You're
in LA."
bragging.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh my God, that's nothing." I go,
I love people's answers.
and then now, like we're having Thanksgiving, Christmas at our house, and then I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Why don't we do it at her brother's house?" Who's a nurse, and she goes, "Oh, it's because our house is bigger." I said, "Oh, well, tell them to make more money."
I got a question. I got a two-parter here, which is I am semi-obsessed with food orders, but I'm mostly obsessed with waste and sort of how people think. So I did this thing. We did this comedy fantasy camp thing a couple of weekends ago, and they provide a box lunch.
Okay.
So I showed up at 1 to do something with Leno, and they had the box lunches out on the table. There's 50 people. Everyone gets the lunch. And I looked at the box lunch, and it was from Panera. And then it said smoky buffalo chicken melt. And I thought, I'm just going to get like a turkey club or beef dip or something. And I kept looking, and every box was smoky buffalo melt. Everyone. And there was like 20 of them.
That's a very specific.
It was very specific.
Bold
And then
flavor.
I ran into Mike August and I go, is there anything other than the smoky? And he goes, that's what I had. That's all we got. And I go, is it any good? He goes, no, it's weird. It's weird. It tastes weird. And I go, is there what is it, like chicken? I goes, I don't even know. I couldn't taste the chicken.
Yeah.
I took one bite. That's done.
It's mystery meat.
So I took it, and I took a bite out of it, and I went, oh, yeah, this is weird, Mike. This is weird. I'm not going to finish this, and I put it back in the box. And then I realized somebody was in charge of ordering from Panera.
Yeah.
And somebody said, give me 55 smoky buffalo chicken melts. Listen,
have a
everyone,
deal.
just get the fucking turkey club.
Yeah.
Or just listen, turkey and beef.
Yeah.
Just fucking turkey and beef. Don't get weird.
Yeah.
Why? There's nobody that's ever looked askance at a turkey sandwich. There's nobody who can't eat a turkey sandwich. I don't care. Turkey sandwich may not be your favorite sandwich,
Yeah.
but we can all eat it.
yeah.
We can all eat it. There will be no qualms. And no one ever bites into a turkey sandwich and goes, this is weird. No, it's a turkey sandwich. just get 25 turkey, 25 beef, and 3 veggies for the assholes.
They might have had an overstock of those, and then just let's just give it to them.
They probably cut them a deal. And also, do not ever order a veggie sub. Order a grilled cheese, because the veggie sub has cheese on it, but it's not melted, and it's got lettuce and tomato and stuff, but it always tastes like shit because it tastes like a sandwich without the good part, which is the turkey or the beef. But a grilled cheese would work. And I will also say this. If you're going to be one of these assholes that goes, we got to get 10 veggie sandwiches, even though no one's a vegetarian, but you got to get, if you converted all that to grilled cheese, the people who ate the turkey sandwiches and were coming back for seconds will be happy to see that grilled cheese.
100%.
100%.
Facts.
Yeah.
I love a good grilled cheese.
So don't ever get veggie.
Never.
Grilled cheese. All the meat eaters love a grilled cheese, and technically the vegetarians can eat the grilled cheese. But nobody wants a fucking cold sub with lettuce and unmelted cheese.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And nobody wants the fucking smoky buffalo chicken melt. It was so... Mike August... I call him the stoned pelican because he will fucking eat anything at any time.
It takes a lot to phase
It
Mike
takes a
August.
lot to phase Mike August. He took one bite and he was like, it's too weird.
It's too weird.
It's because it tasted like melted cheese and weird buffalo sauce and then bits of chicken, like little fragments of chicken in there.
Did everyone get sick afterwards at all?
Everyone didn't like it is what it is. And I just feel like there's got to be some consensus.
Yeah.
Like somebody who, okay, it's always the dumbest, laziest, lowest paid person who's in charge of lunch. It's never the smartest, sharpest person. It's the dumbest. It's a person you want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Tim, get in the van.
He hates his job.
Take off.
Yeah.
Like you're literally banishing them. Like you're saying, leave. Well, I'm going to give you money.
Yeah.
You got to leave.
Go.
Yeah, you're taking the person you don't want there, and you going on a lunch run.
Yeah.
And these people don't give a fuck,
They
and they're
don't.
dumb, and they're probably a little passive aggressive, and they just go, fuck it, I like buffalo chicken
I'm going to
sandwiches.
give everyone diarrhea.
The buffalo chicken
That's it. I
sandwich.
hate everyone here.
It's the worst thing you can say about food is it tastes weird.
Yeah.
Bad is fine.
Weird sounds like you're going to get sick.
Yeah, like street soft tacos, real good tacos,
Yeah.
nothing better. But I can eat a Jack in the Box taco.
100%.
It's not good,
It's not good for you.
and it's not good for you. But what I can't do is weird.
Yeah.
Weird, weird
Like
in
a
the food.
a tangy taste.
Yes, just something where your brain is kind of going, is something bad? Is this supposed to be put together?
And it's like your fourth bite. You're like, I don't think this is good.
Yeah. So anyway,
Weird's not
we
good.
got smoky buffalo chicken melt, but then
I'm going to go get one today.
I try it just to prove me
I'm going to
wrong.
post it Instagram.
It's their best-selling sandwich. now.
Adam, this is for you. It's like a Fear Factor episode.
You just get turkey. Just get turkey. There should be.
I'm Armenian, though. We don't like turkey.
Oh, you don't like turkey? Well, you like goat?
No.
You guys are goat based.
I
Right?
thought turkey the country.
Oh, turkey. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
They don't like turkey in the country.
Genocide,
Yeah.
ethnic cleansing. I mean, come on.
yeah.
You never.
Yeah.
It's hard to judge.
Yeah, we didn't even fuck
It
Thanksgiving.
may have just been an ethnic cleansing. Come on now.
Yeah.
You're trying to downgrade to ethnic cleansing. I do like that. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Easy with
Hey,
the
let's
genocide
go.
over there. It's an
Yeah.
ethnic cleansing. We all knew it.
Yeah.
Did you hear that Panera story about the Gavin Newsom thing?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. Yeah, I knew some of the nuts and the bolts.
So Bloomberg last week did this investigation and found that Gavin Newsom released this new rule or law, a regulation that says that minimum wage for a fast food restaurant has to be $20 now.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's if you work at a fast food restaurant that has like more than 60 locations, you have to pay your workers at least $20 an hour.
Right.
So, but if you look within the fine print of this regulation, it says unless you make and sell bread as a standalone item within the premises. right?
Standalone.
Yeah.
So you could buy a roll.
Yeah, if you make the bread and you can sell it separately, which is oddly specific. Well,
it is very specific.
It actually applies. This bread exemption actually applies to Panera.
Right.
And there is this billionaire, Greg Flynn, who owns a bunch of Panera restaurants in California, who actually donates a lot to Gavin Newsom's campaign
and his winery.
So everybody's getting very suspicious. Like, weird that this rule seems to only apply to one fast food restaurant that sells bread, and that's Panera.
Right.
And Greg Flynn's part of that. So they got a lot of blowback from it, and now Greg Flynn is saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This has nothing to do with me. In fact, I'm going to pay my workers $20 an hour anyway. And Gavin Newsom's like, yeah, this has nothing to do with them. We don't know each other like that. This is just totally separate. And they're just denying any sort of allegations.
They look like the same person.
Yeah. I just like when they try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny when they try, and then it's funny when they backtrack. So Gavin Newsom's deal is pay everyone $20 an hour, and then what always ends up happening is they lay off a bunch of people and they get kiosks, and then there's something called Flippy, and it's an automated burger patty flipper. So they'll get kiosks, they'll lay off everybody, and then they'll charge more for the food, and then it'll never work. That's the problem with Gavin Newsom. But you know what or the Democrats in general, when they try to sort of conjigger things, it never works. It always backfires. But here's the thing. I do not, and I'm willing to, discuss this. I don't know why there is a minimum wage. I do not know. And I've said it a million times. Obviously, it doesn't apply to what you do.
No.
And
it hasn't applied to me ever. When I first started working, I was like minimum wage or commission. I chose commission always.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the people that bet on themselves,
100%.
sort of thing. And so, like, what I always say is, if you go up the street to the Home Depot and you go to where the illegals are waiting in the corral and you need someone to sling some stucco or put some cinder block up or something, you go to them and you go, how much? And they give you a day rate, and it ain't minimum wage.
It's not.
the wage is what you guys can come to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if the guy says, I want $25 an hour, you'd go, all right, get in the car. And if the guy said, I want $150 an hour, you go, no. Right.
Yeah.
But you and I will sort of come together and figure this thing out. Yeah. And I think it should be that way with every job.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Also, when everyone is getting minimum wage and one guy's busting his hump and the other guy's smoking a reefer in the freezer, you know what I mean? Why are you two getting paid the same?
100%.
How about we reward the guy
that's hustling?
Also, when you take minimum wage dudes, like if you have a guy, like let's say I have a guy, he's a good fabricator, he's a good welder, works on my cars and this, that, and the other. He gets $30 an hour.
Yeah.
But if minimum wage gets to $20 an hour, and he's like, I'm a world-class fabricator, and I'm getting $10 an hour more than the fucking 17-year-old who works at Taco Bell. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's shit's got to go up.
Everyone,
It never works. It's not going to work. And I don't even know why we need it. Everybody should go in there and go, I'm going to hustle my ass off and I'm going to get paid what I'm worth.
Yeah, I think minimum wage makes everyone lazy.
Yeah,
very lazy.
But it's also it's unnecessary, because you go, first off, they do this thing all the time where they go, these people over at McDonald's getting paid slave wages, get treated like that. You don't have to work at McDonald's. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, then you do not have to work for slave wages.
Yeah.
And if McDonald's says, I'm not paying a penny over $5 an hour, then guess what? They get no employees. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
And if they say, I'll pay $55 an hour, then there's a line of people with applications going around the block.
Yeah.
This will settle itself.
Yep.
And it'll settle itself, around $16 or $14.75. Or it will settle it.
Yeah.
Too little, no one's coming in. Too much, there's a line of people who want to be employed at McDonald's. It will settle itself. It's unnecessary.
It's not.
All
Yeah.
right.
McDonald's.
Well, there you
It's a great first job, though. It's a great. If you're 16 years old, McDonald's, free fries. You know.
Sure.
I worked.
Adam did it.
Yeah, I worked at the McDonald's.
I worked at Hot Dog on a Stick. My first job.
Oh boy,
Oh, now I'm angry.
Why you don't like Hot Dog on a Stick?
it's jealous.
Oh,
Jealous. There was
I
a-
worked around pretty girls, and I was making lemonade.
Man, that's what we're saying.
I was 15 years old. I actually got fired from Hot Dog on a Stick in the Glendale Galleria. I got fired because I got a hickey from one of the girls.
You're
worked
living
there?
out
Who worked
Adam's
there?
fantasy right
And I
now.
got fired. They go, "This is
man.
a family restaurant." I go, "I fell."
fell on some bitch's lips. You made the lemonade?
I made the lemonade. It was
I don't know. That's kind of
It was like citric acid.
that's
and-
homoerotic to me because they sit there with that
And they do
fucking
this.
churn and they just
Churn,
jack
yeah.
it off
Yeah,
the whole time.
totally.
I like
man.
watching the chicks do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
remember-
oh,
the chicks.
man.
What about me?
Well, what fucking outfit did you wear? Because they dress
So-
like stewardesses from the 60s.
So they made us wear this funky the outfit, and then the little hat, and then these tight little blue shorts.
You had to wear the blue
I
hot
had to wear the blue
pants?
short, but no, I sagged a little. I wore basketball shorts underneath. But it was my first job. It was pretty cool because it paid more than minimum wage back
Oh, the love of fucking Christ.
then. I think minimum wage back then was like $6.75, and I was getting like $8 an
I'm
hour.
so fucking rip shit
Yeah.
because I worked at McDonald's for minimum wage, you know.
And leaving McDonald's too, you smell pretty bad because all the chemicals and stuff. You're like, what is that?
No, listen, I had
That's
to
a-
work. I had
that's
to
a
work.
McRib.
I worked the fucking grill. They wouldn't even let
Oh,
me work
my
the
gosh.
register. I sat behind that hot plate, that big skillet, big grill, just sweating my ass off. And my cuticle smelled like onions for the next 3 days because you'd throwing the onions on the burgers and searing them and flipping them and all that shit.
Which McDonald's do you work at?
Studio City.
Oh, no way.
They tore. It's gone now, but it was in the Studio City, like where Trader Joe's is and everything now. And then at some point, I got done with McDonald's, and I was like 17 or 18, and I went up to the Hot Dog on a Stick in the Sherman Oaks Galleria,
Okay.
not the Glendale
Yeah,
Galleria.
yeah.
The Sherman Oaks Galleria is Fast Times at Ridgemont High Galleria, the movie theater.
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
is
yeah.
there. So then I went up to Hot Dog on a Stick, and I'm like, minimum wage, like $4 an hour at
Yeah.
this point. You know, what are you guys getting? They're like, we get $6.50.
Yeah.
Fucking six. Whoa. Oh, where's my? Let me get an application. Like, we don't hire dudes.
Oh, back then they didn't hire dudes.
No, I was discriminated against. I didn't get hired for the LA
so
Fire Department
bad.
because I was white, and I didn't get Hot Dog on a Stick because I was a fucking dude. So fuck all of you with your fucking privilege. Adam had his white privilege. Passed by Hot Dog on a Stick. Passed by the LA Fire Department because of the color of my skin, because of my genitalia. Fuck. Because I'm a fucking white privilege. He's a white
Definitely
male.
not the content of your character.
Oh, fuck. Things could have been so different.
So different.
I could have done Hot Dog on a Stick.
Dude.
Fucking got some hickeys and banged some of those hot chicks who
Yeah.
worked there. Crushed some of that lemonade plunger, you know, and then catapulted with the momentum that I got from Hot Dog on a
That
Stick.
confidence.
Taking that bravado and that confidence
Yeah.
right into the LA firefighting scene.
Boom. Now
Boom.
you're
Look at me.
Lemonade
Yeah, I'm here.
and fires.
You're
That's
stuck
right.
right.
Ground floor.
This hand smells like lemons. This hand smells like pussy. Now, who's first?
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, well, but instead,
Your whole life would have been so different.
could have been different.
Yeah.
The entire trajectory.
You know what's funny about that? That's honestly, I could say that women like motivate you, and yeah, your whole life could have been completely different.
Completely different.
You got rejected at a young age.
I could have been a contender.
Never stood a chance.
All right. I think we'll take a break. I think we'll do some news, and we'll do that right after this.
You're about to hear a preview of The Jordan Harbinger Show with Bill Browder, who uncovered a massive fraud inside the Russian government and took on one of the most powerful men in the world, Vladimir Putin.
While I was sitting there down 90%, they were going to steal my last 10 cents on the dollar. So I took a decision which nobody had ever taken before, which was to take on one of the oligarchs. I did. I fought back big time. Sergey and I exposed the crime. The same people who Sergey testified against arrested him and then tortured him to try to get him to withdraw his testimony. He was really a man of steel. On the morning of November 17th at 7:45 a.m., I got the call from Sergey's lawyer. And it was the most horrifying, life-changing, soul-destroying news that I could have ever gotten.
For more on how Bill Browder continues to fight for change while being a thorn in the side of Vladimir Putin, check out episode 3, which is one of the most popular episodes of The Jordan Harbinger Show.
Morgan and Morgan, it's 2024. Let's talk about something important. If you get hurt this year and you're injured, well, your injury could be worth millions of dollars. And if you're ever injured, you should check out my friends at Morgan and Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. More than $20 billion with a B, $20 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients over the years. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you the full and fair compensation you deserve. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. Racing my vintage cars, well, that can be a little bit hard. Oh, yeah. But submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is easy. Am I right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or pound law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. In honor of Jim Carolla's 92nd birthday, here's a list of all the things Adam Carolla will do before he dies. Be measured for a suit by multiple people while he talks business on the phone. Just one of the things Adam will do before he dies. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, we have comedian Jack
Assadourian, yeah.
Dorian. Oh, Dorian. I got to put an N at the end. Sorry.
We will get it right before the end of the show.
Don't worry
got
about it, man. It's as long
dates.
as, yeah.
Where do we go for dates? JackJuniorComic.com.
JackJuniorComic.com, correct.
Good. All right. What do we got for news?
So Doritos just cut ties with a transgender influencer after reports of her posting about violence and pedophilia. So Samantha Hudson, a singer and actor from Spain, around 370,000 Instagram followers. And it was a short-lived campaign because a lot of people were upset by Samantha's posts. Like she talked, she mocked rape victims in some posts. She wanted to do depraved things to a 12-year-old girl, and yes, they're just like, ooh, we should have done some research on this before we did this. We are no longer associated with Samantha.
Yeah. Or maybe they do it on purpose. I don't, first off, the trans community, who the fuck are we really talking about here? Like, how many trans people do you know? How many kids you know that are like transitioning? Like, what percentage of society are we talking about? How much fucking trans talk do we, like, I feel like we're, in terms of trans talk, like, I'll put it to you this way. Probably way more trans talk in the last 3 years.
Oh, way more.
In the Biden administration than border talk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, border talk's been slim to none.
Yeah.
Trans talk's been a lot. All right, Dylan Mulvaney. Like, somebody said this. Remember there was that 60 Minutes story last week, and the head of the border security who oversaw 21,000 agents said, I've never met with Biden, and I've never met with Kamala Harris. He hasn't met with them, but Dylan Mulvaney has met with Biden. Dylan Mulvaney, trans nut, had an audience with Biden.
Yeah.
So we have a trans nut who doesn't affect any of us and we don't give a fuck about. And here's the whole thing. You're all narcissists. Get over it. I don't give a fuck. Tuck your junk up your ass and waddle around in your mom's high heels. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. That's what you don't get. You keep thinking we give a fuck. We don't. Go fuck your life up. Do whatever the fuck you want. Go fucking pierce your nutsack and then shove it up your own asshole and tape your fucking nipples down. Or do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You agitate and then people give a fuck because you start getting in people's faces.
Yeah. So
we have a society where our president doesn't meet with the guy who's in charge of the border, but does meet with she, Dylan Mulvaney,
and hires trans people for his cabinet,
right,
and also
right.
and promises like they're promising they're going to hire more. Like It's a theme. It's
How
been an ongoing theme.
impactful
Sure.
is this on most Americans is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that impactful? The trans community? All right. And most of them are fucked up anyway.
So what do you think Doritos was trying, though? Because we've seen this happen. We saw this happen with Bud Light. We have history now. We understand what happens when you do something like this. And they still did it anyway.
They're trying to come up with a new flavor.
Yeah.
This chip identifies as.
This tastes like your old balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you cut them off. I can't figure. Well, okay. So there's this thing where we go. There's a community, and we have to speak to this community, and it never goes right. It always goes wrong. It's a sort of fundamental problem when we go. I'm in this community, and I'm in that community. The whole deal is your community should be you and your family and your friends and your work and your work ethic, and fucking make some hay while the sun is shining, and do not worry about other people that look like you or in your community. It has nothing to do. You know, there's plenty of heterosexuals around. I'm heterosexual. There's plenty of guys over 6 foot. I'm over 6 foot. There's plenty of white dudes around. I'm not in their community. I got nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
If they want to work with me and I want to work with them, then that's it. But I'm not doing it based on anything. And I just, it tears people apart. It turns people into like this group, that group, this group. Sort of the opposite of what this country is supposed to be. Yeah. And it never seems to work for the community that they're trying to help. So Joe Biden is going to come in here and his administration is going to help the trans community, but nothing ever works. I have no fucking idea whether he's helped them or not. And what they don't realize is they're all just insane narcissists. And they're all doing that sort of move like in the schoolyard when the girl you liked, you tug on her ponytail, and then she'd go, "Why are you doing that?" And you go, "I don't like you." And it's like, no, you like her. You're trying to get a reaction from her. The 99% of Americans, their feeling is if you want to do whatever you want with your cock and balls, go right ahead. Yeah. Just don't fucking rub it in my face. Yeah. And that's it.
Literally or
what they don't understand is we don't give a fuck about them. They can't stop it. It's like RuPaul. I'm going to get a bigger wig and a tighter dress and put on. I don't give a fuck about RuPaul.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with them, and that's fine. They don't affect me.
Yeah, do your show.
Go do whatever the fuck you want.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So but the question is Doritos.
Yeah.
And again, I don't even know why everyone loves Doritos. You don't need to pander to this community or that community.
You're already the big dog.
Yeah,
you're the big dog. Just just put Doritos out there. So are they doing it to start controversy? Because they don't do their due diligence. Like, these people all have tons of fucking tweets in the past and stuff that they could easily unearth, but they don't. They sign them up.
Well, honestly, if you think about it, like this past couple of years, like you said, it's been there's Bud Light, there's that, there's this. So maybe they're just trying to like just jump on okay,
but
they're doing
failed.
it,
but it's blowing up.
But even if it's failed, it's also helped them. And there's no such thing as bad publicity, you know.
I mean, Bud Light sales were down for a while,
but now they're
coming back up.
Well, yeah.
Drinking it
Didn't
again.
Dana White just have Bud Light?
Yeah, but they had to give him $100 million bucks. You know, I mean, I'm saying I'm with you in general that it's publicity, but sometimes it cuts into your bottom line. Either way, I have no fucking idea what Doritos are doing, and I just don't, I just don't care. I've been in here in this town for 50-something years, and people have been trying to get me to care about soccer for 50-something years, and I don't give a fuck about soccer. I just don't give a fuck.
You're a baseball guy?
No, I don't give a fuck about baseball. I like football.
Softball.
The last 10 years, everyone's trying to get me to care about the trans community, and I don't give a fuck either. Just do whatever you want, and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah, you're going to do your thing. You do your thing. That's
right. That's right.
That's what America used to be. Right? Yes. Everyone just do their own thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So remember we were talking about that cellist who was playing in the subway and got attacked by that lady with the water bottle.
Yeah,
so
bonked on the head.
Yeah, so there has been a lot of crimes in subways. So following a series of these high-profile crimes, Governor Kathy Hochul announced plans to send hundreds of National Guard members to patrol and search passengers' bags for weapons at busy train stations.
That's racist.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of people are actually calling out, for instance, there's this writer, Mara Gay, who writes for the New York Times, and she tweeted back in 2020, June of 2020, that Tom Cotton op-ed, remember, where he's like, send in the troops for all the BLM organizations.
That's them at their zenith of wackitude. Tom Cotton, I guess, a senator, or I guess he's a senator.
Yeah.
Anyway, or congressman. I always fuck it up. Anyway,
Senator.
Tom Cotton's a senator, writes an op-ed for the New York Times that basically says, we cannot let these street thugs take over our towns like they were in Portland, Seattle, New York, starting fires, looting, robbing, chaos. So we need to bring in the National Guard and put this stuff down.
Literally, the op-ed was called "Send in the troops."
Send in the troops.
The nation must restore order. The military
stop all
ready.
these cities from burning.
Yeah.
That was way too radical for the New York Times. And so they pulled the op-ed and they fired the editor who let it run.
Right. It was a big
which
deal.
is in fucking sane because you have a U.S. senator and he's writing an op-ed piece and it's too controversial.
In opinion,
All he's saying is we need to stop the looting and the rioting.
Yeah.
So then they all go nuts.
So this
because they call everything racist, I guess.
So this New York Times writer, she says, running this article puts black people in danger and other Americans standing up for our humanity and democracy too.
Standing up for humanity by burning a liquor store?
Well,
or like all the looting here in Glendale.
Right. Yeah, that's standing up for humanity, stealing purses.
so now fast forward to about 4 years later, she writes that that this move of Governor Hochul's decision to deploy the National Guard members is the right one.
Well, because she's a Democrat, too. If she was a Republican, then she wouldn't agree with the deploying of the Guard. Listen, everybody, if you're just riding the subway and if you're just minding your own business, and if you're just buying a ticket and you're not bonking anyone on the head with a metal water bottle, then good. This is good for the people who just aren't doing any illegal activity. I never really get their beef with cops and National Guard and all this kind of stuff. Like, it won't be racist unless a black guy whacks someone on the head with a water bottle and then he gets arrested. If it's just him riding the subway lawfully, then he'll be fine and then we won't have to worry about it. So I never really get how this stuff is racist or it's whatever, but most all people, including blacks and Hispanics and whatever in these underserved neighborhoods, when you pull the cops out, there's more crime. They're the victims, not rich whitey, and they're the ones who want the cops to come back. But all this is white elite people treating black people like they're pets, essentially, and they have to make the decisions for them because they can't understand. They're not evolved enough to get their own ID so they can vote and shit like that. And it's soft bigotry of low expectations. It's flat out racism. I mean, it's the ultimate. I would much rather someone say of me, like, Adam Carolla, oh, fuck, that guy's a douchebag. Or Adam Carolla, yeah, that guy's just not really capable of doing stuff. Like, I'd much rather be called a dickhead than I don't think he's up to. He's got to drive to Arizona. I don't
think he could do that.
I don't think Adam could really. That's not gonna. No.
We're gonna send him out to go to lunch.
Right. That shit is way more racist than any black slur. That's what I'm saying. They're the racist ones. Well, anyway, so now there'll be National Guard in the subway, and then crime will go down, and then everyone will be happy.
Will feel
and then,
safe.
yeah,
that's how it should be. I mean, right now everyone's not afraid of the police right now because they just get out of jail. You go to jail for like 5 hours and they are bailed out.
Oh yeah,
for crime.
Especially out here.
Out here in LA, it's crazy. You can literally break into a car, get caught, and then they're released the same day.
Right.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I know, his precious Americana.
To what end? Like, how's this end? Like, how's it going to work? What do you think it's going to
We
work?
got to lock people up again, you know?
Yes. It's a very small percentage of people doing all the crime.
Yeah.
So when you lock them up, it makes a dent.
Yeah.
But you don't have to commit crime. This is what I'm
Yeah,
want
the
to
whole point,
say.
don't commit crime.
Listen, you don't have to work.
Raise minimum wage.
You don't have to work at McDonald's. Yes. You don't have to work for slave wages. They go slave wages. I don't remember slaves getting paid.
Yeah, go be a comedian.
If you think about it, if slaves got paid, it wouldn't be called slavery.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So they go, it worked for slave wages.
Yeah.
I'm like, what wages? Let's just say low wages. But
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, low wages.
You don't have to work at a McDonald's if you don't want to, or you don't think they're paying enough.
Yeah.
And you don't have to steal catalytic converters if you don't want to.
Yeah.
These are choices.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about the Mexican community. They didn't want to. They worked at McDonald's for a year and go, I could do this, and they build these tents and
Yes.
these hot dog stands, and they're killing it, dude. Everywhere you go, especially like on Lancashire Boulevard or anywhere, you just see these mom and pop tents, and there's lines around the corner. They take Venmo, Zelle, like they have servers now. It's like a little street restaurant.
Yeah.
And that's the American dream: hustling, making money, working. You know,
It'll be the ultimate power move if you had money is to just hire one of these guys in their tents and their propane tanks just to set up on your lawn.
Oh wow,
Full time. You know what I mean?
Sick.
And you just head out and go,
Yeah.
I'll take a dog wrapped in bacon as you get in your car. You know what I mean? And the rule would be I'll pay you whatever
Yeah.
you got paid, your daily rate is. There's no serving neighbors or anything. I
Yeah.
just want you here.
Yeah, I'm paying for exclusivity.
Well, yeah, when I come back from work,
yeah.
I may need a fruit with mayonnaise on it. Like I may need some shit to just hang out. I'm
Yeah.
paying you.
Yeah.
You're
Got a holding
here.
deal.
There's people that have full-time chauffeurs,
100%.
and full-time butlers.
Yeah.
You know, there's full-timers. When you get to a certain tax bracket,
Yeah.
I like to pull one of those guys in their tents.
You know-
I'll put them in the backyard.
You know what I want to do? I actually like if you go to like North Hollywood area, or like there's a bunch of them there, right? There's some of them like are six of them on the 6 tents on the same block. I kind of want to take one of them and take them to a really nice neighborhood, and then just be the only one there and just
Oh, yeah.
balling.
Corner that market.
No one's there. Just a bunch of white people. Like, can I have some bacon hot dog?
I don't know. I feel like if you tried it in Beverly Hills, the popo would roll up pretty quick. I think
Unless we get free samples.
Oh, then they're again.
They're
yeah,
in.
we got to grease those
This is
palms.
delicious.
Yeah.
What is this? Guacamole?
Yeah, I mean they're out. I don't know why. The weirder part is when they're setting up, not the line,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
like putting the tent up and getting the propane hooked
Yeah.
up and chopping vegetables
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
In the middle of the street. Is that a Target?
It is weird that in a society that, in especially Los Angeles, that literally has nothing but rules and ordinances for everyone all the time, that there is nothing anyone does about somebody just making food on the street and selling it to anyone who walks by, which says to me they're not serious about Here's all I'm saying. The next time one of us taxpayers shows up at Building and Safety and wants to pull a permit and they go, it's going to be $289, we should go, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you with
I'm
your
gonna
rules.
build my own
Do
permit.
you have rules or don't you have rules?
Whatever you're building, just put a huge pop-up tent over it, and then
I'll
you're
be
free.
I'll be putting a guest bedroom on, and I'll have this guy cooking dogs next to me. And I'll slide under the radar.
Same business.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
So Business Insider just did this report about Joe Biden's limousine. I thought it was
yeah.
really cool. So, just for some background, U.S. presidents, they rode Lincolns as limos for most of the 20th century until about the 80s when the Reagan administration switched to Cadillacs. And so Joe Biden's limo, it used to be Trump's limo, and it's called the Beast.
Yeah.
And the Beast includes a night vision system, a secure communication system that can launch can give out nuclear codes and launch nukes, tear gas firing capabilities, door handles that deliver electric shocks.
That seems like overkill, but all right. All right.
It sounds like it would go wrong first before it went right.
And a defibrillator.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. It also works as that, too. He might need that. And then and inside there's a refrigerator with the president's blood type.
Well, the blood of the blood type.
Yeah,
right?
the blood of the blood type. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And 3-inch thick windows, 8-inch thick armor, bulletproof.
Man, that mini fridge, that could be a bitch where you're like, I'm going to get a natty light. Anyone want to? Then you spin it all. Oh, God.
It's a Bloody Mary.
What is that? Yeah.
It's bulletproof, sealed against biochemical attacks. It's 20,000 pounds, and it costs $1.5 million.
Wow.
It seems relatively cheap from a taxpayer standpoint. Like they were trying to build a bathroom at a park in Oakland, and it was like $1.5 million.
Really?
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Like a single toilet unit.
Oh my God.
But like there's plenty of high-end sports cars that are 1.5.
Yeah.
Like for how much money they normally waste on everything, this feels like the taxpayers got a bargain here. But I don't
like the way it looks.
Oh, styling's a little
yeah,
dated.
you know
It's
what?
outdated, right?
Well, you want some rims. You want some bigger rims on
No,
there.
no.
That's the Arma
That's
side.
on the side, sure.
Yeah.
I want Mercedes.
Yeah, BMW.
What is this? Ugh.
Run flat tires and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Nobody's made a move on the limo really since Kennedy, right?
Right. I mean, obviously, all the new protection was after Kennedy because he was in a convertible that, like, the back rose up so he can obviously be seen a lot easier and shot a lot easier.
Yeah, and he wanted to be in the convertible and blah blah blah. But all right.
And also speaking of money, the famous booth from the Sopranos finale just sold.
Oh yeah,
It went up for auction. So this restaurant that had the booth. It was
well,
at
wait a
Holston's.
minute. It was an ice cream place, right?
Yeah, Holston's Ice Cream in Bloomfield, New Jersey. They're currently renovating the place, and they thought, okay, it's time. I mean, we have this booth that has a plaque on it. A lot of people come here to take pictures, and it's been repaired many times. It's over this booth is over 6 years old already. So it's time for us to move on from the booth. So they go and they put it on eBay.
With termites.
Yeah, there's probably some termites too. But so they put it on eBay, 238 bids for this booth, and it finally sells for $82,600.
Yeah, which is a lot for a booth, but I feel like they could have sat on that one and advertised it a little bit and brought it to Sotheby's or some bigger auction house and maybe broke 6 figures.
Yeah, it seems
100%.
wildly low for the
Yeah.
Sopranos booth.
Well, I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like on one hand, this stuff was formerly worthless. Nobody cared about any of it. Now, Steve McQueen's watch sells for $5 million or whatever. So we're trying to adjust in this world of celebrity memorabilia because nobody really cared about it in the past, and now we do. I mean, they didn't care about it enough. When did The Sopranos go off the air? 9 years ago or something?
No, like 15 years
Is
ago.
it 15 years ago? Has it been that long since the final episode?
Let's see, debuted in 99, and the final scene was 2007.
Wow, it has been that long plus. So there it sat. No one cared for a long time. It doesn't come with the jukebox.
It doesn't.
By the way, that was probably set dressing, but there it was.
Right.
And I don't even get that ending. Was the ending? What were they saying by the ending?
The ending, he was. I mean, they still won't officially say it. Although I think David Chase has confirmed this, like in a podcast more recently. He died. He got shot, and because there's a few episodes before where they're like, hey, when you die, I think it just goes to black. Like I think everything just goes to black.
Okay.
And then it just goes to black.
So what do you do?
Sorry, spoiler alert.
If that is your,
I haven't seen The Sopranos.
Okay.
It's a great series.
Thanks, dude.
Still speculative.
We don't know. We don't know for
We
sure.
still don't know
Jack.
for sure.
I think if you get this, you got to put it in your house, right? You can't put it in your warehouse. Put a tarp over it,
No,
right?
you have to put it on display.
You
But
gotta
I mean,
put-
we play Hollywood.
You could just
hand-me-downs.
remake that.
You could.
Yeah, you could
make
knock
it
it
off.
like a booth kit car. So you could. I mean, the nostalgia market is just at an all-time high. We see what people are paying for things
Yeah.
for memorabilia, and I think it's insanely low, and they should have totally went to an auction house and got some publicity. Nobody knew about 238 bids for this thing. That's nothing.
Remember, with an auction house, you have to pay the VIG for the auction house, and the seller's got to pay the VIG too. And for memorabilia, like for cars, they'll charge you 10% if it's over 250 grand or something. But for memorabilia, it's like 15 or 20%.
That's a big chunk.
So it starts to add up. And so you do the auction house and it sells for 100 grand, but the owner still only gets 80 because the auction house gets their cut. And then the seller has to give the auction house some money too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah,
maybe it evened out. I don't know. This still seems low.
You know, the weird and the sad part is money doesn't sound like anything anymore. Like you go 80 grand for whatever, and we go, oh, that's not anything.
Yeah,
that don't cost nothing.
Wow.
Or the president's limousine, 1.5. That's it.
That's it.
When I was a kid, if someone said $1 million, it was like
crazy.
Holy shit,
right.
Set for life,
Yeah.
you know. Now there's fucked up farmhouses in Glendale, 1,300 square feet, 2 bathrooms, one of them doesn't work. I got it for 1.7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we got to tear the roof off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, 1.7.
Yeah.
Where did the $1 million come in? There was million. We'd go, oh, if some guy lived in a huge house in the hills when I was a kid, a palace, and that house was 750 grand, we just go, it's $1 million house.
Yeah.
He lives in $1 million castle up there.
The castle.
Million doesn't mean shit for anything anymore.
It was unthinkable.
And it's also when they're doing stuff like they go, well, we're going to do a home. We got a bill that says we can take care of the homeless with it's only going to be $550 million. You know, all right, that sounds reasonable. Like $550 million of what has money's lost. Okay.
Value.
It's lost the value, but it's also lost meaning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think young people give a fuck about what this is or what that is, or I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for my own kids, but what I'm saying is it got digital.
Yeah.
People are swiping cards or using their phone or Apple Pay or Venmo or whatever, and it's not. When I was a kid, we were emptying jars and like counting
quarters
shit out, like piling up.
Yeah.
All right, got $2.25 worth of quarters. Tim, how we doing on nickels?
Yeah.
45 cents. All right, let's put that together. Like it smelled like something. It had weight to it. You know, there was something. It wasn't.
Now it's all your cell phone, Apple Pay.
It's all digital.
Yeah.
And it's all just zing zoom.
Swipe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go. I don't know when this started, but I went and picked up 2 different takeout things the other. Like I went to 2 different restaurants and picked up stuff.
Yeah.
And when you're walking out, the person always goes, "Hey, got to tip them," you know? Like just because you're picking it up doesn't mean you don't have to throw something on.
You got to answer that question.
There, right. Yeah, there it is. That blank line just
So
staring at
stupid.
you. And you're like, all you did was hand me a bag, bitch.
Yeah.
And then like, all right, fuck it, $5.
Yeah.
Then you go to the next place. But you're just writing down $5. If I had to pull a bunch of
$5,
cash out of my
it's
pocket,
over.
it would slow it down.
100%. And sometimes too, when you use your card, they'll charge you twice and you won't even know.
Right.
You have to really check your statements every day. And as you get older, I stopped checking. I just charge it and I don't even check anymore sometimes.
And then there's that sneaky Thai place by my house. It's like you do takeout and like you want to tip 18%, 23%, or 185%.
Yeah.
You're like,
What?
I don't want any. I don't want no percent. Well, you got to pick one.
Yeah, does that come with a hand job?
Yeah, like I gotta. Yeah, it should come with a happy ending, and it's like, no, I don't want to tip 22% for picking up $80 worth of Thai noodles, but they fucking programmed that.
Sometimes too, when they give you that digital one, they handed it to you, and then they already clicked the highest percentage on it, and then you just go, "Oh yeah, it's clicked," and you sign. Now I gotta double check that all the time. They do that like the Cheesecake Factory. They'll bring you the thing, and they go, "Oh, here you go, just sign here," and it has the tip included at like 22% or whatever.
Selected.
Yeah, remember when 10% was a good tip? 10% was a decent tip.
I know everything's an insult now.
10 is 12, 15, 18. You know.
Listen. always was pissed off because when I was in my late 20s, I was a carpenter and I drove a truck and I had a skill and I had tons of tools. You had to have your own tools, you know.
You're like a man, dude.
I was a man.
Cars and tools.
And I had like hundreds of dollars worth of tools that would get stolen from the back of my truck every once in a while. But it's like I fucking read plans, laid shit out, used my tools. I had a skill.
Yeah.
And then a roommate who was a bartender, and he'd come home after like a 4-hour shift with $200 cash, and I'd be like, I get $14 an hour, and they take taxes out, and I work a 10-hour day, and I get fucking way less than you. Why do they need to get paid that much? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
All right, what else we got?
So it's March, which means the Iditarod is going on. It always happens the first weekend of March, and this guy Warren Palfrey, he just got a 2-hour penalty added to his time because he did not gut a moose correctly when it was killed during the race.
Yeah.
So there's this rule that states if like a big game animal like a moose or like a buffalo is killed in defense of life, or property, then the musher must gut the animal and report it to race officials, and then mushers who follow, if they see you gutting the animal, you have to help and gut this animal too.
You know who'd be the worst Iditarod contestant ever? Ellen DeGeneres. I feel like Ellen would just fucking
She's
hate.
light.
She's light, but she couldn't gut a moose. She's a
I can't even
vegetarian.
gut a moose.
You can't gut a moose?
No, man.
What the?
That's the Armenian
I'm not a
side.
man.
That's Armenian side. The Mexican side could gut a moose. The Iditarod is Fairbanks to Nome or Nome to
Anchorage to
Nome.
Yeah.
It's
1,000 miles.
1,000 miles over frozen everything. It's crazy. And, you know, sometimes their dogs die and they eat them and shit like
Plenty of
that.
dogs.
Like it is survival, the fucking fittest out there. And women win. They have won a lot.
Since 85. So they're like the first woke competition because, like, women are taking over the men. 85. I think like the next 4 years after that too.
Yeah, well, so there are sports that are like weighing less is an advantage, you know?
Yeah.
Endurance, women have a lot of endurance. It just becomes this sort of intestinal fortitude, like how long you willing to stay up at night, how cold can you get, you know what I mean? But you want to do that kind of sport, then it's like, hey, let the ladies, let the men's, let the trans, let them all do it. It's just when you do sports like MMA and basketball and boxing and shit, that's when we have to start making some rules.
Your muscle biology, actually.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not fair.
Right. So he didn't gut the moose properly.
Yeah, I think he was going too fast or something. But they're like, hey, because they use the moose, they use it for meat. They're like, hey, like this moose died because of our contest. We're going to use it for meat and make sure that this animal's death doesn't go in vain. Yeah.
Was he in the lead, I wonder?
He was not in the lead, but he has won 5 times. So he's like,
Oh, really?
Have you had moose before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had moose in Alaska.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been to Alaska, but
A little gamey.
Yeah.
It's gamey.
Not a fan.
Is it weird?
It's weird.
It's weird, and
It's not as bad as that
while
fucking
we're
sandwich.
eating it, the
Maybe
family, the lovely
Panera
family,
Bread.
the lovely
Panera
family
moose.
who caught it. No, I know it needed buffalo. They were showing us pictures of them catching this moose, and they had to take a tractor to drag it to wherever they needed to be gutted.
Yeah, they served up the moose, but the dude who killed the moose was with us.
Oh.
So we had to pretend like we liked the moose. You know what I mean?
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Can you pass the ranch?
Gonna dunk Bullwinkle into that ranch. Yeah, so we had to eat a sufficient amount of moose because the guy was looking at us,
That's
the whole
terrible.
time. I would say moose tastes exactly like you'd think it would taste. Kind of gamey, a little weird, edible, but not
Chewy.
Yeah, you'd much rather have a piece of steak or a piece of salmon or whatever. Like we know what we're doing with food.
Yeah, how'd you cook the moose though? Was it rare, a little rare, or was it? I don't know. Was it well done?
They did moose steaks. But what I'm saying is if I took a bite of the moose And I went, fuck, this is so good. Like, this is better than Kobe beef.
Yeah.
There would be moose ranches all over North America. Like, believe you me, we know how to fucking raise animals and eat them. That's what we specialize in, you know? If the first guy took a bite out of a pig, you know, ate some pork and went, oh, fuck, get this out of my face, there would be no bacon. But someone ate bacon and went, you know what?
Put it on everything.
I'm on. It's on now.
Put it on our donuts.
That you have to, it's a little luck of the draw. You know what I mean? If you're an animal, as to what people, you know, if the first guy spits you out, your ancestors will be, the people that come after you will be fine. The animals.
And the pigs are like, let's swim in our shit. They won't eat us. Or
right.
we
like you that. We like bacon so much.
Yeah, we don't give a shit.
And then people try to make you feel bad. You know, a pig is smarter than a 9-year-old. And you go, I still want the bacon. You know what I mean? They go, actually, pigs actually look after their own and show compassion. They have it. I know, but I want the bacon.
I need the egg muffin.
You know, that pig is related to you. Sorry, Tim. I need to eat you. Like, bacon is so good that no matter what you tell us about pigs, because people try to do that thing where they guilt you, or they go, oh, no, I raised a pig, and that pig was loyal, and it answered to its name, and it was smarter than a dog, and it followed me around, and it saved me when I fell in a well one time, and all this kind of shit, and you go, yeah, but I love that bacon.
Yeah.
But if you were a moose, we'd go, you know what? Don't eat him. He's cool. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Bullwinkle.
Yeah, there would be moose farms, ranches. There'd be moose ranches everywhere. And some people would get pissed. But if we really loved the taste of moose, we'd be eating moose.
Moose Donalds.
Moose Donalds.
I don't know. That would be like the largest animal that we probably eat and raise on a farm, right? I mean, what else? What else is bigger than a moose?
Nothing. I mean, we'll do bison, but they're not bigger than a moose. Yeah, we'd be doing moose for days. There'd be moose everything out here. Yeah. And Moose on Frank's, the business, the line would go around the block, you know? Yeah, but we don't. So we don't like the way you taste, Moose. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, good for you, though. So there's a boxer, Ryan Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you saw this?
I heard about that.
Yeah, so he is a super lightweight boxer. Mm-hmm. He actually has a fight scheduled for April. But he's been like doing some crazy stuff on his social media. Like, he's been tweeting a bunch of weird tweets, saying that his mental health's all messed up. He says that he lost access to his Instagram account and his Twitter, and like people are holding him back. It's just he's going kind of nuts. He even tweeted and talked about this place called Bohemian Grove, which is a private community north of San Francisco, and he says that like they rape kids there, they do crazy shit there. It's like Illuminati stuff. He said that there's going to be an earthquake, a huge earthquake on June 6th. It's going to be bad. And so he just got divorced. He's going through some mental health issues, which he's admitting. But I guess what everyone's saying is this guy's going kind of nuts. Should he even be fighting right now?
Well, I'll tell you what I learned from watching like a lot of Gilligan's Island and cartoons and stuff like that. You get whacked on the head and you go nuts. But the only thing that cures it is a second bonk on the head, and then you go back to fixed again.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he needs a second bonk on the head, and all of a sudden he'll be thinking clearly.
Did you see the other part where he said that they're trying to kill me? All that?
Yeah. It says they're trying to kill me. It says like I was raped when I was a kid. Like
they're trying to kill me.
Yeah.
This might be my last tweet. Blah,
right.
Blah, blah.
And then he records a video of himself or somebody that's like, hey, I don't have access to my phone, but I just want to let everybody know I'm safe. And I'm alive. Yeah. And everything's going to be okay. Like, it's
he's going through, and he's having issues.
Yeah.
But the question is there any better job when you're having issues than being a fighter? You know what I mean? Like, if this guy's having issues and he works for Delta Airlines, I'd be like, okay, let's take a little break before we get into that cockpit, you know? Yeah. Or you're driving a school bus, or you're working as a camp counselor or something. There's many other jobs.
Right.
Walking into a ring and trying to punch someone else in the face, I feel like you could do that with issues. You know what I mean?
It might be in his favor.
And are his issues going to get worse when he gets punched in the face? I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it's going to motivate him to get it all out.
Even Sean Strickland was tweeting like, I'm worried about this guy. He's been he's been boxing since he was 7 years old. What's going on with his brain?
And he lost his last fight.
Oh, he did?
It was a really big fight, and that was like the turning point of his career or he kind of fell off. He was a superstar. He lives in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, he was a huge. I mean, he is a huge star. So, but like on social media, he was like the king of social media.
He's Oscar De La Hoya's protege.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then he had a falling out with him too. I don't know. It's been pretty wild.
He's still
story.
under Golden Boy promotions though. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Well, listen, we wish him well. This thing where they go, should he be fighting? I don't know. I wish everybody who had mental disorders was making $4 million for this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get him off the company.
Yeah.
Get him off the dole. You know what I mean? So he should get paid. He should be able to do what he wants. And people, friends, family members, community, they should kind of get involved.
100%.
We're not going to be able to solve this from here.
Yeah, where's the family too? You haven't heard any of them talking.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's just so odd. Like it's not consistent with what and whatever he's saying. And yeah, he claimed he got his throat slit.
What?
He's unhinged. It seems he's unhinged on. But then
I think he wants a Netflix show.
But he's also saying, "Look, it's not me. It's the elites." He's like saying like there's some. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, we hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I do too. All right. Ray Evernham is waiting in the wings. So, NASCAR Hall of Famer. I've watched him on his TV shows many times. Collects many cool cars. So we'll get to him in 1 second. Jack Jr. JackJrComic.com. Jack Assadourian.
There you go. Yes,
he
said it.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll talk to Ray Evernham right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Well, they're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly offers friendly, helpful service and parts and knowledge you need to do all your own maintenance and repairs. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry. If you're in a jam, they'll help you out. When you're a do-it-yourselfer and need a specialty tool to finish the job, well, stop by O'Reilly and ask for one of their loaner tool programs, because there's a lot of real special tools when it comes to doing certain jobs on cars. Simply pay a refundable deposit and borrow the right tool, then get the deposit back when it's returned, so it's free. They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. Plus, they can test your battery for free, in or out of the car, so you don't have to pop it out. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto, and you can find what you need in the store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
And now, Alcoa presents Definitely Not a Jew on the Adam Carolla Show. Dateline, Lincoln, Nebraska. A 24-year-old man robbed a quick stop convenience store by concealing a handgun in a box of Hostess cinnamon rolls. Definitely not a Jew.
All right, Ray Evernham is our guest. He's got a new book out called Trophies and Scars, and it's available wherever you find finer books. Ray's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, crew chief, TV personality. I enjoy your TV work as well, Ray. Good to see you.
Thank you, Adam. Good to see you. Thanks for having me on. Haven't seen you in a while. Last time I saw you, were doing like a gazillion miles an hour in a Porsche 935.
Yeah, that sounds like me. A gazillion miles an hour in 14th place. You're bringing back the IROC. Now, the International Race of Champions, which is cool. A lot of people remember the IROC Camaro from, the 80s. It's a really cool competition, and you can explain how it works better than I. But I will tell you this. They did them. It's all, look, the most fun I ever had in a car was doing the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach 5 times, won it 2 times, once as a pro, once as a celebrity. And it was because every car was equally prepared. And it was all the exact same car and the exact same track. And that's what made it a killer race. And that's what IROC is, right?
Yeah, and that's, it was a brainchild of Roger Penske and Mike Phelps from out there on the West Coast, and Les Richter, who was the president of Riverside Raceway. And they, Mark Donohue was behind it. They started with Porsches, and the Porsches were probably a little bit too expensive, maybe not the perfect car to when they transferred to the ovals. Then they switched to Camaros and stayed on Camaros for up till 19 it would have been probably 91, and then Dodges, and then into Firebirds. So the series went for 33 years, but 12 identically prepared cars, greatest drivers from around the world. When you look at the driver list, incredible, incredible. We actually found a car. Niki Lauda ran one race, a qualifying race, but guys like Fittipaldi and Derek Bell and Jackie Ickx, Jochen Mass from overseas, Graham Hill, the guys here, the youngsters, Foyts and Andretti's and Petty's and Earnhardt's, and it goes on and on and on. And, IROC went away in 2006, and I think timing's back now for that form of motorsports entertainment.
I totally agree. And, the reason mixed martial arts has been the octagon and all that, ultimate fighting, all that, the reason that it's the biggest and fastest growing sport and sort of caught everyone's imagination is because before that, we all sat around and we went, who would win in a fight, Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee? It was always like, who would win in a fight? And we'd take the karate guy and the boxing guy, and everyone would have an argument over it. And what the UFC did is they went, we're just going to figure it out. We'll put them both. Well, the boxing guy can go in there, the wrestling guy can go in there, the martial arts guy can go in there. We're going to figure it out. And that's how it started. Now it is its own discipline. It is its own sport. But when it comes to car racing, you go, F1, NASCAR, road courses, ovals, quarter mile. What's the, and you go, well, we'll settle it. We'll take the F1 guys. We'll take endurance guys who race sports cars. We'll take Le Mans guys. We'll take oval guys. We'll take NASCAR guys. We'll take road course guys, sports car guys, and we'll put them in exactly the same car, and we'll see. And that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, and, I think that with IROC 2.0, if you will, we're working on a car design that doesn't favor IndyCar guys, doesn't favor stock car guys, doesn't really favor road course guys. I think what happened to IROC in the late 90s and the 2000s is it became kind of a NASCAR race. They ran a lot of Rovals, it was a NASCAR type stock car, and we're going to get away from that with the designs, the cars that we're working on. We're going to start by having a vintage reunion, bringing back the brand, bringing a lot of these IROC cars around. But ultimately, it would be fantastic to be able to see the current F1 guys like a Lewis Hamilton racing. Let's say like a Joseph Newgarden or a Kyle Larson from NASCAR. I think that we can do something also when you talk about boxing, right? You can't have guys that are 20 years apart boxing, right? Unless it's Big George Foreman, of course, right? but I think the way that we're going to do this at the speeds that we want to do it, with the cars that we want to do it, we may be able to spread that age gap a little bit, right? You're not going to have guys punching one another in the face, but two guys 20, 25 years apart in age can still handle a race car pretty good. So I think we can open that up a little bit to get the answers to those questions. Could Jeff Gordon, beat Al Unser Jr.? I don't know. We'll find out.
Al Unser Jr. was super fast at Long Beach. I remember that. So that guy can definitely handle a car. We know Jeff can as well. Yeah, and also, speaking of that, some of those old IROC Porsches are out there, and the real collector items now, circa 1974, 1975, like sort of in there. And I remember one came up for auction sale at Pebble Beach many years ago. It was like, 10, 12 years ago. And I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, it's a Porsche, and it's pretty cool. And I don't know, Emerson Fittipaldi or Mark Donahue or something. I can't remember whose name was on the glass, but it was a famous driver. And so I said to a friend of mine who's a Porsche guy, Bruce Canepa, you probably know Bruce.
Yeah, know him well.
He knows everything about Porsches. I said, Bruce, what do you think about that IROC Porsche over there? You know, it seems like it's going to go up in value. You know, it seems like a pretty good price at, I don't know, $300,000 or $400,000. And he goes, Adam, you don't want that Porsche because you like the vintage race, and what are you going to do with it? It's not really going to fall into a class because it's not really a full-blown race car. It's stock-ish with, you know, suspension and roll bar and stuff. It's not a full-blown race car. And you like to do the vintage racing, so you don't really have any. What are you going to do with that car? And I was like, okay, you're right. And then, I don't know, 5 years later, went for $1.4 million. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Tell you what I would have done.
They're continuing to go up. I'll make sure I mention that to Bruce on that advice. When I see him, he did help us a good deal. Rob Kaufman is my partner on this, and another great collector. But certainly Bruce Canepa has been involved helping us get the brand back. Great guy.
What do you do when you say you're trying to put a car together that doesn't favor an oval guy versus a road course versus F1 or Indy? What is your jumping off car? Like, what is the base of the car? You're not going bespoke, right?
No, it's a car that I would design that we're currently actually looking at that would be a combination of all of the cars, and also it's got to attract the viewer, right? When you see that thing, you got to go, wow, man, I'd like to have one of that, or like to drive one of those. So I think things like where the wheelbase, height, engine position. You know, we're looking at a car that may have a combination of open wheel front, closed rear wheel, and driver position may be different than just a standard left side
right
car. So again, trying to find that balance that it makes it very unique. So when it's looked at, people look at it like that's an IROC car.
Oh, all right. So you're building a car.
Yeah, that helps us. A lot of drivers are tied to manufacturers now. So Ford guys don't want the guy driving a different car, or Chevy or Porsche, or vice versa.
So you start. I mean, crew chief is a interesting place to get to in a young man's career. How does that happen for you?
I started racing, around New Jersey. Again, started, knocking down the fences, so to speak, in open wheel cars, modifieds and dirt cars and midgets and things like that. And my big opportunity came when I went to work for IROC, for Roger Penske in 1983, and worked through the series there, became a team manager, crew chief. And that really prepared me for my NASCAR career, which happened just shortly after that, when I hooked up with a guy named Jeff Gordon and realized that kid was pretty good, so need to stick with him for a while. And then when Jeff came with his talent, Mr. Hendrick came with his money. All I had to do was make sure the wheels didn't fall off.
Yeah, you got to have money.
Yeah,
you got to have money to race. I mean, it's a lot. I would say racing and money are a lot like politics and money. Like, if you don't have any money and you can't run ads and you can't buy billboard space or whatever, you're just going to have a hard, even if you're every bit as good a politician or what human being, you got to have that money. But they must cap it now, right? Because they're looking for parity, like they do it with F1, right? They sort of go, you can't spend more than $200 billion in one season, or whatever they come up with. Must be that way in NASCAR as well, right?
Yeah, they're working harder and harder with this new Gen 7 car, to get some parity. It's still expensive, and you can never, in racing, right? You're never going to bring the cost curve down. That's not going to happen. You may be able to change the angle of how high and how fast it goes up. But, NASCAR's made a great change in that car, and it's allowing some new teams, looking forward to some new manufacturers coming in, but it's kind of equaled the field, because the old playbook that everybody had of the hundreds of millions of dollars they spent getting there with aerodynamics and engine development and everything's kind of out the window. This new car is much different, and it really is a spec car, much like the IndyCar series, that you buy a lot of the parts and pieces from NASCAR, and it has created a much closer field than they've had in the past.
You, on your TV show that I used to enjoy so much, where you found all the old cars and put them back together, which is always, and the name of the show escapes me, but you'll tell me.
Americana.
Yes. I think I saw every episode. I
appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It was a good show, but also I'm a good audience for that shit because I can't stop watching, especially when they find the old car, they put the old car back together and they take it out. I think it was Marty Robbins' car that was a good episode. Famous singer, also did tons of racing. What do you have in your collection? Did you keep some of those cars?
The Marty Robbins car actually went to Scott Borchetta in Nashville, and we actually restored 3 Marty Robbins cars, and Scott's purchased 2 of those, and then the other one is the Superbird, and that's running around the Florida area, shows and whatnot. But right now, I've been focusing on the IROC. We've got about 14 different IROC cars. We've got 3 of them undergoing restoration right now, but I've got a cool car that you might like the story of it, but it was one of the IROC test cars, if you will, and they took it to Sonoma, Sears Point, one weekend to do a promotional thing, and they had Paul Newman, Gene Hackman, James Brolin all come in and drive the car as part of a promotion. So it's pretty neat. And Newman actually did a video talking about what it was like to drive inside an IROC car. They did that at Riverside. But that car got put away. A gentleman named Wayne Darling bought it straight from IROC. He ran 2 other SCCA races with it, and it went into a storage up in Seekonk, Massachusetts. And I was talking to him one day, and he's like, "Oh, I got an IROC car." And I was like, "I want to sell it," but it's pretty neat because it's an original, what I call a Generation 2 IROC Camaro, and it has we've got the book with all of those lap times from Newman and Brolin and Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Brolin, Hackman, and Newman all kind of raced together for a little while. There's somebody who owns a Ferrari 308 race car and transporter, sponsored by Budweiser, that with everyone's name on the side of the. Oh, I think Clint Eastwood was on that that as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Eastwood was at that IROC test that day. But the name that surprised me, I'm going to tell you, Gene Hackman. Hackman was quick, like really quick.
Yeah, there were a couple guys back in the day who raced, like the Smothers Brothers, and you don't think of like Smothers Brothers as being fast behind the wheel, what I mean? But evidently they're, well, that's kind of the thing about racing. You really can't tell. You know what I mean? Like, Frankie Muniz, that guy's super fast in one of those celebrity cars. But you look at him, he's like, that guy, come on. The first year I did the Celebrity Grand Prix, I was like, look, I don't care if I win. I just don't want to get beat by some like pussy soap opera actor or something like that. Well, the guy who won was a soap opera guy. You know what I mean?
Or
like
Carlton.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, or Carlton. Yeah, he beats everybody. So, wait, what's his name? Alfonso Ribeiro. Yeah, I mean, the guy kicks ass. Like, you can't go he or she or that dude. You can't go, well, Clint Eastwood is fast. Look at him. And Tommy Smothers isn't fast. Look at him. Like, you can't. You don't know who's fast.
No, and racing is like that. And, that point of, hand-eye coordination, perception. People always ask me, what makes a great race driver? What makes Jeff Gordon so good? Whatever. And, 90% of the time, it's not about being brave or, being able to handle speed. It's about being smart. It's about timing. It's about really understanding how the car works and the mechanics of it. It's just guys like Mark Donohue, because he was so great. I had an opportunity just to speak with his son David this weekend in depth about Pikes Peak racing, and I thought to myself, this is why those guys were good. It wasn't, what was really handed down to David was more about the intelligence and the way he attacked and understood the track. So, especially with road racing, that.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, but there's also, I think there's a part where you have to be able to sort of turn it off a little bit and not see that red mist and get all, win the race in the first turn and all the other cliches and stuff. But the guys who do the emotional driving get into trouble. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
The emotional, like in Groundhog Day, you can't drive angry. Like you'll see, you'll pass a guy in a road race and you'll look at him in his rearview mirror and he'll hang a tire on the first turn after you passed him, and then he'll come back on the track and get a little loose. And then the next one, he's sliding around a little and you're like, oh, he's over driving. He got passed. And even though there's 10 laps left, he wants to pass you back in a half lap. You know what I mean? But in the process of him wanting to pass you back in a half lap, he's going too hard.
It's on tilt.
And he's sliding around, and he hung a tire in the dirt, and he's starting to fall off because he's driving angrily and sort of with emotion. What he should be doing is, we got 10 laps, take the next 3 laps, reel me in, come on up, and then find your turn and go on by. But that's what they do. And the other, the hardest thing to do in racing is to get used to driving with someone up your ass. You know what I mean? Because when you first start driving and you go to a driving school or something and some guy's right on your ass, you find yourself like looking at it, and then the next thing you know, you look forward and you're just in the dirt. It is really hard to simultaneously pay attention and ignore somebody's just filling up your mirror, right?
It is. You hit it right on the head about the emotion. We talk to a lot of our young drivers about that. They're coming up. They've got to be able to control that emotion. How many great race car drivers have you seen in NASCAR and IndyCar that could win races, but they could have been superstars had they been able to hold their emotion. And it's a proven fact, right? It's a fact that when you get mad and you get angry, your emotion intelligence level drops because you can't think. And to me, as I said, you've got to be intelligent. When you look at, again, some of our heroes, you've talked to Mario, and I'm sure back in the day with Dan Gurney and people like that.
I've talked to Gurney and Andretti and all those guys. Yeah. Yeah. The thing about, Dan Gurney, which we're working on a doc with him as the theme as we speak. These guys are Renaissance men because they're drivers, and they're engineers, and they're constructors, and they're team owners. And at the end, he's making parts for Tesla and SpaceX. And he's making literally parts for the Tesla car and then landing gear for the SpaceX, like over here. At this point, he's, 89 or something, and his brain is never stops engineering, constructing, building, and all. By the way, guys you like to talk to, guys you like to hang out, they don't think like idiots. You know what I mean? Like every person you hated the most during COVID was not these guys. These guys are always, they think in a very linear fashion, that everything makes sense. They're not hysterics. They're not ruled by emotion. It's all engineering and gravity. And those are the guys that do the best behind the wheel as well.
Yeah, and really, we're really fortunate, I think, in auto racing because we're in this sweet spot, guys like you and I, because we got to meet and talk to a lot of those. The guys, it'd be like if you wanted to do baseball and you had the opportunity to talk to Babe Ruth and Mantle and Maris and guys like that. And, there's still a ton of guys out here, Leonard Wood and Richard Petty and, I said Foyt and the Unsers, were just amazing people. I got an opportunity one time. I bummed a ride back from Petty to come out of Fontana when we were in California. And the poor guy was trying to sleep on the plane. And I sat across from him and I bugged him for 3.5-4 hours. He was trying to go to sleep, and he probably thought, what the hell? Why don't you shut up? And I thought, if I get a chance to sit across from Richard Petty and ask him questions, I'm doing it until he tells me to shut up or falls asleep.
Yeah, I got to go around Indy with Mario Andretti in the tandem Indy car. although on the Indy 500, although it was like malfunctioning and he was pissed off about it, I was quietly relieved because, the guy's 86 and we're going 191 miles an hour on the back straight. And I'm sort of like, I know you got your ego, but the crowd's cheering and stuff like that. But it's so much harder to be a passenger than it is to be a driver. Like, oh my God, you just don't have control. I mean, obviously the guy knew what he was doing, but the car had some issues. But I've met all those guys, I've interviewed all those guys, I've talked to all those guys, and they're all gentlemen, by the way. There's no prima donna douchebags in that group, which is always kind of nice. I mean, each time you come, you go, there's Bobby Rahal over there. I wonder, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And all these guys, I guess it's a sport that's sort of inherently humbling or something, because you're just not going to win. You're not going to win 15% of your races. And you may get killed. You know what I mean? And it just breeds some sort of humbleness. I don't know quite how to explain it.
No, I know, and you get that feeling. And I think that those guys, in some ways, they really appreciate the fact that we appreciate them. And they understand that they were where we were at one point. And I agree 100% that they've been humble and willing to. I think they know with a guy like you, or a guy like me that works hard and you love the sport. We weren't born with the talent that they have to do their deal. But we also, you add a great deal to our sport with your status and the fact that you're a celebrity and you care about racing and you promote it. And, me, I'm a guy that can go, I've spent my life just trying to do the right thing because racing's been good to me, whether it was, in my early years or with NASCAR or with the Dodge program or again, the television show. And now with IROC, I when I do a project, I hope that it's something that car people really appreciate.
Well, I'll just make the pitch. If they need somebody to pilot one of those IROC bespoke mobiles, I'll throw my name in the hat. If they ever have any celebrity series or something, done a couple professional Trans Am 1 races, got on the podium the first one, second one didn't fit.
Really, in a TA1 race, that's awesome, because that is not an easy series.
TA1 C75 Corvette, 900 horsepower, tube frame, big slicks everywhere. Big track at Willow, 2.5 mile track. The guy on the pole was 118 or so. I was probably about 121 or something in qualifying. That's a fast pace in big, fast cars. 100-mile race, came in third. So,
awesome.
So I'm not saying I'm any good. I'm saying I will try. Sign me up.
Hey, your picture on the podium, it doesn't matter. It doesn't say this guy's not good. You've got a picture of you on the podium.
There's
in a TA1 race. And I'm gonna tell those cars are fun to drive, but they're, as you said, 900 horsepower. You're shifting that thing. You got to brake it. No traction control. No paddles. No ABS. You driving that thing.
Yeah, it's a handful, but super fun. Man, was that fun. All right, so let me give you a plug. Trophies and Scars, Ray Evernham is the book. It's available wherever you get finer books. Twitter and Instagram at Ray, and I'll spell his last name, Evernham. Ray, always good to catch up with you. I hope I'll see you at Pebble Beach this year. You're going to be around for
we're actually going to be out there. We'll be out there. We're bringing a car out to do some of the Monterey Historics, and I'm definitely, I promise you, I don't know how soon, but we will get you in an IROC car.
I would love to, my friend. Thanks for joining us today, Ray.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Car guy's always the nicest, right? What is it? Are there certain jobs that just attract dudes? Car dudes. Best. All right, Vegas coming up April 4th and April 18th. You just go to AdamCarolla.com for all that. West Palm Beach is coming up at the Kennel Club. That is stand-up. That is March 22nd and 23rd. And, we're doing a whole Paul Newman presentation. All the cars got pushed up to Reno, and we're doing a whole night. Leno's going to be there. I don't think
Live
it's
podcast.
Friday and Saturday night.
It's just Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know where the Friday part came in. But Saturday night, I think Leno's going to be there. Jeremy Renner may be there. We're working that out. Well, he's a car guy, and he's out there and all that kind of
And this is the first
stuff.
time that the entire collection's been publicly.
The whole Newman collection
Available to
is going to
see,
be
yeah.
there. So we'll be there, and you come out and say hi and all that stuff as well. And then Jack Jr., JackJrComic.com is where you go. And until next time, it's Adam for Jack Jr. and Ray and Chris saying mahalo.